Okay.
All right.
You can take over then. Whatever you want to talk about.
Super. We're going to talk about night school tech.
That's good.
From Erie's All Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
This is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and we got a full house today, and I'll introduce from my left to right.
Mark Alexandrovich, past city councilman.
Ed Brzezinski, school board director.
And Matt Punt, career and tech director for the Erie Public School System.
We're going to talk about a little different subject today, but we'll first go to our first caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cass, I want to ask you, to buy a block over here on 12th and East Avenue, are they going to tear that down and put a new bridge here?
You mean the Brick Ride Viaduct?
Yeah.
If I was a betting man, I'd say it's coming down, but there is some people, there are some people in the community that want to try to save it.
Yeah.
I don't know how successful it'll be. There's nothing concrete yet. They did have at our last council meeting made their position to us. It's going to be a matter of if somebody wants to save it, we're going to have the funding to maintain it and to insure it and everything else. I always felt it was an asset when we built the new East High School.
Yeah.
We renovated that whole area. Once we closed that bridge, it was like we sentenced that to hell, actually, where things went downhill quick. When we cul-de-saced a lot of those roads, it kind of ruined the neighborhood. So,
once they built the bayfront, because I heard they only had to walk a couple feet to the bayfront, but there's a sidewalk there on the bayfront that they walk, and they don't have to walk in the street, do they?
No, but here's the thing. Everybody says, they keep pointing out that the bridge is only 200 yards away from each other at the terminus, but they forget where the road starts. The road starts way back south of that 12th Street, and where you live on the east side determines whether you take the Bayfront Highway, or like when I was a school director, I didn't take the Bayfront Highway. I took the McBride Viaduct and East Avenue to get down to East High School.
Yeah.
It was much more convenient. If this was Pittsburgh, we'd have those bridges.
Yeah.
But hang in there, and I'll keep you informed. Okay?
All right, and another thing, the free trolley that goes up and down State Street, are they going to do away with that too? The free trolley?
Well, if we do, it's because it was funded by I'm not sure if the state or the feds were funding that program. So if they do cut it back, it'll be because of lack of funding.
Yeah, because one of the bus drivers told me he heard a rumor they might do away with the free trolleys.
I think they're doing away with a couple of them, but I will talk to Mr. Winarski. He's the liaison for council to the EMTA.
Yeah.
I'll have him find out the next meeting.
Yeah, because I know they only have one trolley. I used to have two, but they only just have the one, because they cut the one out.
Yeah, that was all funded, so, if the funding goes away.
Yeah, because I know one goes just to the courthouse, from the intermobile to the courthouse.
Right.
That stays downtown.
I'll find out for you, though.
But the other free trolley, it goes from the intermobile to 14th to Peach and come down State. But the other one goes to the courthouse. Yeah. And another thing I want to ask you, did you ever been up there since it's been raining? Up where that bus stop is?
I was there the other day, but they haven't done any work to it, really, have they?
No, not major. They did a quick job on it, which they did it just in front of there. But when people drive and they hit them puddles, right, they kick them stones and everything.
Well, we're gonna have to deal with,
on there, you know?
we're gonna have to deal with the landlord on that issue, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, have a nice Christmas.
Yeah, have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
You too, see you next year.
All right, bye.
I'll put you on hold for a minute, so.
Okay.
We'll give you a couple minutes, but then we'll go back on the air.
We have special guests today, Mr. Ed Brzezinski from the school board, and Matt Punt, who is you're the director of
education, yeah.
And the reason we're here, I think we were here last year, and it was prompted by Mr. Brzezinski's statement to me about his goal was a 13th grade, that he called it. And very exciting concept, especially when we want to talk about government. If this was the private sector, it would have been done right after your comments. But actually, it did happen pretty quick. So explain to everyone what you've done.
Well, it's not so much what I've done, but when I got on the school board, one of the things that bothered me most was there were way too many kids walking out the door on graduation day and having no idea where they were going to go. The door closed behind them, and they didn't have a plan. We talked for a long time about the 13th and 14th grade. In today's economy, it's even more brutal now, the help that people need. We have a program started by Mr. Punt. That's why we brought him along here to really get into the nuts and bolts of it. But in a quick overview, we can take those students who failed to graduate, and with the help of the IU5 as a partner, we can get them a high school diploma, not a GED, a real high school diploma. And if they want to go further, we have certificated programs. Again, I'm going to do it quickly, like welding or nursing, things like that, to help people move on. We had just a quick meeting. I think Mr. Punt just announced it through the central archives at school there. We had over 30 people come just to get an idea of what was going on. And they weren't just, there were some kids there that didn't graduate, but there were a whole lot of people in the 50-ish bracket looking for maybe a certification in welding, machine shop, something along those lines. You know, for years, we just kept on churning out machinists. And then for a while there, everything kind of got quiet, and nobody did a whole lot with it. Now, I think, 90% of machinists will be retired in the next 5 years. There's a demand for them, and the machines are more complicated. Anyway, that's where we're at now, and if I can, switch it over to Mr. Punt. I had the ideas. He put them into motion.
Is this like night school, or?
It is Tech at Night.
Yep, it's called Tech After Hours, and it's an adult education program. Happens in the evenings, Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8. Like Mr. Brzezinski said, this was a mission of his to have happen again. It had gotten cut back about 15 years ago.
It did? Oh, yeah. See, I lost track. I remember people used to go at night all the time.
Yeah. What's different about this adult education program and the prior one is the prior one used to just offer courses, individual courses. You could take a carpentry class or woodshop, or typing class, and just take one course. But now these are industry credential courses. So when you graduate into this from this full 1 year semester course, for example, welding, you'll graduate if you're successful with a American Welding Society national credential. So it's a credential program.
So this should help a lot of the businesses then.
Yeah, what it really comes down to is I've spent a lot of time meeting with local businesses and hearing them complain there's not a trained workforce in Erie, and if Erie's going to continue to exist strong and be able to recruit new businesses to Erie, we have to have a trained workforce and a pipeline to continue to do that. So listening to that need, and then hearing on the other end of it, students not having a direction when they graduate high school, or people in the community that just kind of didn't realize that I'm a young person and I needed to get that high school diploma because it means a lot to my future. Didn't sometimes realize that until they were a little bit older and then had regrets. So now they need that high school diploma and they realize they need a training program, but it needs to be affordable. So we're proud to say through this planning stages that Ed was involved in, and his ideas I capped off on, we were able to provide an adult education program with industry credentials at about 25% of the cost of other groups in town, the private schools. And so you'll get the credential all included in with your training, and you'll be ready for the workforce. Employers are very interested in candidates that come out of the program because they're looking forward to hiring them.
Will they be pushing their agenda too a little bit, like if they're looking for a specific type of person?
Yes.
Or a specific skill level?
Yeah, they're helping to define what roles they need and stuff like that. So when we have candidates there's multiple levels of this adult education program. One of it is a student enrolls and does the 1-year program, earns the industry credentials in the areas that we're offering. Employers during that time can come in and look at the candidates while they're training. Take a look at their attendance, take a look at their grades, see their work ethic, and then we can even customize some training for them to go right to that particular workplace. My hope is that a lot of these students coming through the program will already have jobs before they graduate because the local employers have had spent time with them. So what we're looking at starting right now for programs is construction trades. Building industry is real big in this community and around the area. If you don't have a trained workforce in town, you're not going to have new things being built. And then machine technology. We have state-of-the-art equipment in all these areas. Just purchased some new CNC machines. So students graduating from that program will learn to be CNC operators, CNC setup, CNC programmers. You see those ads in every Sunday paper all the time. For a high demand. We have patient care assistant, and local hospitals need that little bit of pre-nursing student to come in and be able to work in the hospitals. And then in the summer we hope to offer a CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant program, and then we have welding technology. So you can have a student come in that already has a high school diploma and just enter into one of these 1-year courses. Or you can have a student that didn't earn a high school diploma and wants to get into one of these trade programs as well as earn their high school diploma. With our partnership with the IU5, we're able to offer everything in-house at Central Tech in the evenings. And the students will have everything they need, including a resume, portfolio, samples of their work, high school diploma, and industry credentials. That will make them very marketable in the community.
I can step in for a second. There is a counseling component here too.
Yes.
You know, so many times when a young person is unsuccessful, it's because they haven't learned how to play the business game. You know, how do you act? How do you network? How do you dress? Sounds like silly things, but a lot of the kids never had that kind of background to help them. Mm-hmm. So it's, hey man, instead of yes sir. Yeah. That type of thing. And it's with the marriage we have with the IU5, those components are all going to come together. We're going to build that self-esteem, because once a person has self-esteem, self-worth, he's going to move forward, she's going to move forward because she thinks she deserves it. And they do. That's the bottom line. There's too many kids out there. And folks, you know, a lot of people are getting lopped off of different jobs that they had for 15, 20 years because the places are closing or moving or whatever. These folks are coming in to talk to us too. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of exciting that we have all those components there. Where do you fit? Right here. We can take you from here to here to here. Or if you already are here, we can take you to here. You know, one course.
So this will help a lot of the layoffs then.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Actually, if you're laid off from like General Electric or something like that, there's automatic displaced worker funding that will pay 100%, at least 100% of what we're charging will be covered if you're a displaced worker from any local employer. And then if you're someone living in poverty, there's a poverty scale that they go by, and we can help you find those answers, whether you qualify for that. That'll cover your full tuition. It was really important to us that we provided a high-quality training program with industry credentials that get you a job at a price you can afford without going into debt. So there's a lot of people that really could qualify for free tuition for the program.
When does this start?
All right. The beauty of it is January is our first classes, but unlike a traditional program where there's always a January start date and you finished a year later, it's designed for multiple entry points. So if somebody joins in February or March, we can have starting points at that point. It's also meant for the individual that has a lot of commitments like family, other jobs, things like that. So there are times, a couple nights a week, that you'll come in to physically sit in the class for lectures and theory, but there's also lab time. But keeping people's busy schedules in mind, we're able to do some of the work online and as homework. So if you got a family that you're trying to care for, get dinner and things like that, you don't have to commit to being there 4 nights a week. You can still have time with your family.
Well, that's nice. If a worker gets cut somewhere in the middle of the year, that he can walk right in and,
Yep.
if he so desires.
Yeah, and that's the idea of it. Is we look at programs that traditionally started at the beginning of a semester, but everybody's life doesn't fall into that time frame, and so we're trying to design something that's a little bit different, thinks a little bit outside the box, and puts the student first. And so each student coming in will get an individual learning plan for them. If they don't have a high school diploma, what do they need to get the high school diploma? We'll sit down and plan it out for them. If they want to trade, what do they have? Do they have prior experience? Maybe it's somebody who has a little bit of welding experience but needs to refine their skills and wants to get that AWS certification. So if you have prior knowledge and you can test out on certain things, you can progress in the course a little bit faster too. You don't have to sit in day one with someone who knows nothing about welding or nursing or something like that. If you have that prior knowledge, you can jump ahead and move ahead. The bottom line is at the end is that you come out with a portfolio of your work, a strong resume, good work ethics, those soft skills that the companies want, and that industry credential. Not many people in town, organizations in town, are offering that industry credential.
And for anyone that is watching this, how do they get more information? How do they contact you?
Yeah, that's really easy. If you want learn a little bit more about Tech After Hours, go to the Erie School District website. It's eriesd.org/adult education. Or you can give us a call at 874-6269. That's 874-6269. We can set up a time for you to come in and sit with our career counselor and find out what meets your needs the best and the program you might be interested in. We can do a career interest survey, find out what your interests are so we can match you up to the career that you want. We're starting with these 4 programs in the high school diploma program, but we want to hear from people that if they have interest in other programs and the job market has openings for it, that we'll be adding to our programs. Pretty much anything we have for our high school students during the day can be duplicated into the evening for industry credentials. So we're really starting off with a set amount of programs that we plan on expanding. Another component that I hadn't spoken about yet, if you don't mind to bring up too, is because we are working real closely with local employers and they're interested in candidates, there is a lot of need for current employees to be trained. And we also authorize customized training programs for local employers. We have a couple local employers that we're working with right now that their employees have sat for that AWS certification and can't pass it. And so they contact us and we're able to give them the training they need to get to the level where they can pass that test. We're the only one in the area that has Lincoln welding simulators. They're about $50,000 each, $60,000 each per machine. We have 2 of them, only ones in the region, and it really analyzes the quality of a weld for somebody. So welding's important because if you're working in that field, it better hold together. And we're able to test those welds. We're also be able to test and correct somebody's angle on the weld. Same thing in the CNC. We have the programming machines, all the state-of-the-art from Haas. So it's really nice how we've upgraded our equipment at Central Tech, and now we're able to offer it in the evening to adult students.
Can they be from anywhere in the county, Matt?
Yep, they can be anywhere in the county. Okay. The city residents get a little bit of a discount. over someone living outside the city. But yes, anyone in the region can take classes at Central Tech, Tech after hours.
And that's the thing now, for anybody, because everybody likes to think that we're reinventing for the kids that didn't do it right, which is a bad statement.
Oh, right.
But this is for everybody. People that are laid off, people that made mistakes in their life, or people that want to change their course. Mm-hmm. That's a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
I think anybody who listens to this and has been watching what's been going on, or try to see what we've been trying to go on, this is the seeds of the community college. The community college concept was a great concept. It fell apart because it became political. That's the fact. It became so political. These people wanted it here because they had land here, and after everybody got done shredding everybody, the community college concept was gone. This is the seeds for it. We can still partner with Mercyhurst Northeast. We can partner with Edinburgh. Dr. Trainer over at Gannon thinks our program's going to be a fantastic program. So the partnerships that Matt's been pulling together, this is the community college. It really is.
We do already have articulation agreements with Mercyhurst and Edinburgh. So students taking these adult education programs or the high school programs during the day, when they graduate from our programs, they'll have the industry credentials, they'll have the high school diploma, but they'll also, if they enroll at Edinburgh or Mercyhurst, already have like 9 to 12 college credits under their belt.
Like when you look at the plastics program at Barron, that's something maybe in the future that
we do have plastic mold injections as part of our machine technology program. Plastico was very nice to us. They donated one of their machines they use on their floor. They have a replacement cycle. They have about 20 units of this same unit. They were getting ready to replace one of them, still functioning, working well, when I went up for a tour to look at them. And the owner said, "Would you like that one?" I said, "What?" And he said, "I'd like to donate that to your school, so if you can train students to work on it, I'll have a trained workforce that can come up and work for me." I said, "That's great." So how am I going to move this semi-sized piece of equipment down school? He goes, "I'll take care of it for you." He says, "When they come in to move my new one in, they got to move the old one out. I'll have them come in and drop it off."
That's a kind of cooperation we used to have that kind of disappeared for a while.
Yeah, it's back. I tell you, Kaz, local business around town really cares about this community's future and really has been jumping in there. Donations of materials, raw materials for us to use, and machinery have been coming in pretty steady. And I can't thank the Manufacturers Association and the Chamber enough for their partnership in getting me the attention of local businesses. This adult education program wouldn't happen if first Ed Brzezinski didn't push for it and feel that it was important to our community, and then writing up a proposal and taking it to the Erie Community Foundation and the Erie Gaming Revenue with Perry Wood, and sitting down and talking to them and pitching the idea at them that they felt it was a very strong investment in our community for a future workforce. And so with a nice $400,000 grant from those two organizations combined, we're able to start this off.
And I even had some experience, as an employer. I mean, we have our crew, the guys that are with us, but every so often we need to add one or two. And I had just this past summer, a guy came in. He was, what do we say, best suited, at least he could spell, he could talk, and I says, okay, I can work with this guy. So then we go out in the parking lot, and it's like, I'm going to hold this bracket while you tighten the bolt. And he's looking at me, which way do you turn it to tighten it?
Lefty, righty.
Yeah, and it was just, and even as he started to turn it, and I'm saying, it's like, turn it to your right, your other right. And to me, it was just kind of mind-boggling that there are people out there that are 20 years old that you put a wrench in their hand and
They have no clue.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with it.
We are a digital technology time frame. These kids that have grown up that are in their early 20s and younger have only known a cell phone and only known technology. They don't get a lot of that hands-on applications anymore. And it really will give them that good opportunity to put their hands on. It's not about sitting in the classroom. It's about creating things and getting your hands on things and making things. And it's a program we model during the day, and we kind of start off with a Pallets for Profit project, where the daytime students, we reached out to local businesses and said, give us all your wood pallets that you pay to have hauled away. We'll come and get them, and then I'll have unlimited supply of wood from our carpentry and construction trades lab. When I mentioned that at our local advisory board meetings that we have with all the businesses, they said we can do more than that. One company throws away bars of medical grade steel that we could never afford to have in our facility, but they're about this long, very valuable to us to make things out of. So we have a constant resources of materials coming in that we make things and then we sell them. And so everything we're making, we're selling and bringing money back into our programs to either buy equipment or replenish supplies. So we're going to use that same model in the evening, because what it does is the students have to reverse engineer something. And that's part of setting up in a business and being those critical thinking skills that you were speaking to me about earlier before the show. Is here you got this medical grade bar of steel. What are you going to make out of it? Now the student will have to design something and figure out what to make out of it that's marketable, figure out the price margin on it, and how would they market it. And so we're teaching those business skills and critical thinking skills and teamwork to work together to produce something. And then we have the store, and then we sell the items. The money goes back into individual programs, and it's been very successful. In fact, we presented it on a national level, and other schools are modeling what we've done up at Central Tech now.
And a lot of the part of having you guys here is a lot of things that I've been becoming aware of. Watching a program where the guy was giving a little talk, and he said the American can do is gone, replaced with I can't. Mm-hmm. And this is a way of getting rid of that and getting back to the I can do it.
Yeah, there's a great movement going on in this country, and it's called the Maker Movement. It's about developing entrepreneurship and getting this younger generation to have those critical thinking skills. And I really feel it's important that we jump on to that maker movement where you're learning to get your hands dirty and make something, invent something. Who knows? Students coming through these programs, whether it's the high school or dollar preg, are our future business owners. Many of them in town here have come out of our tech program and are running business, industrial sales. Jim Rakowski Sr., just to mention one, is a tech alumni and is very successful business in our community and hires lots of employers. There's plenty of them out there that are proud graduates of our programs that I really think we have future business leaders coming out of this adult ed program.
Jimmy wrote a beautiful editorial in the Times a couple months ago, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Where he was talking about how important it was to have a workforce that's skilled. So he's usually one of our first calls when we need something. He's a top-notch guy.
It's really going to be about inspiring young people, young adults, to want to take a chance on things and think creatively and know that if you want to do something with your life, you have to work hard at it. It's not going to be handed to you. You have to work at it, and you have to prove yourself. It's competitive out there. If you're willing to do that, then you're going to be successful.
Everybody thinks you got to go to college. That's not.
No, not at all. I mean, college isn't for everybody, and you can go into a trade program and still go on to college, or you can go into a trade program, get that industry credential, and go out to the workforce.
Well, that happened to me, Matt. When I was at Tech, they told me when I was a junior.
That's right, Tech alumni,
Yeah, I was not going to get a job with my hands. Nothing wrong with that, but just that.
Yeah.
I was in the wrong field. Well, there are people that are good.
I know, yeah.
Like I understood the spatial concept of making something,
Mm-hmm.
Putting it to work with my hands was a little different, right? But luckily teachers said, you know what, you got other skills, and that's what it's all about in life. I mean, like when you talk about re-looking at your life, I don't call it a mistake. I just say, a lot of kids, for wrong reasons, they find out this isn't for me, but I have other skills.
Right.
It's not,
It's not too late anymore.
No, I mean, a lot of people do a lot of amazing things, that we all need people we need somebody to come in and put our cabinets in. And not all of us are good at that.
And they get paid better than most people.
Yeah. And not everybody's good at that,
Right.
My skills is mathematical, but that's okay, I mean, I could have gone on in life and been, but, for those kids that got skills that,
This Tech After Hours is a post-secondary school. You're getting a certification from the school saying you successfully completed this. But one step further, you're getting that national credential. The national credential that we're able to issue based on you meeting that criteria of earning that is a badge of honor. It's, in many ways, it's better than that college diploma. Now, you tie that in and further your education to go on for that bachelor's degree, and you're a super strong candidate.
I was really impressed, Matt. I took a tour one day up at Central. We were up there for, can't remember what we were up there for.
Was it up there when you were up with the governor?
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
And we toured the welding area, and I was surprised. I said, you had a female teacher in there.
Yep. Donna Bastian, outstanding, probably the best in the area.
I can put any kid in any job if he just pays attention when I tell him.
Yep.
And that was like an amazing statement saying that, you do what you're told to do, you do it right, and you got a job walking out of here. That's a hard guarantee to make anywhere in life.
And we can help so many people so many different ways. Because Matt thinks outside the box. As an example, a lot of girls, I remember I was senior counselor at East High. They come in to me to talk about what they wanted to do. They wanted to get into nursing. I looked at what they took. They never took chemistry.
That's a tough one.
You can't get into nursing school without chemistry. We're in a situation here where if we get whatever numbers would work, 6 or 8 people signed up for wanting a chemistry course. We can supply a teacher and give them that chemistry course so they can go on.
And you give them at a less stress level.
Exactly.
Where you're not in a class full of kids that... And some people forget, some people in a mass class where everybody's at a different level get lost. But if you take it at night where you can do it at your own pace a little bit, the instructor can spend a little... You probably know the concept, but you need a little bit...
Take a little leadership lead, too. Those are the kids we're talking about. Those are the kids that probably know the answer but hesitate to raise their hand.
Yeah.
And it's happened a lot of times. So it's a...
They're programs that you got to work hard at. I mean, we may make this sound so wonderful and beautiful, but as a student coming into a program like this, you have to have the commitment and the desire to want to do it. If you have that, you can accomplish anything. And so when we did our first open house, we had a large group of people come in, and they all had different needs and different interests. But the one thing they did have, all similar, was they wanted a better life. And so that commitment to come to that first meeting now, like I said, if you want to hear more information about it, you can go to our website, eriesd.org/adult-ed, or we have an open house on January 20th at 6 o'clock at Central Tech. And if you want to hear a little bit more about the details, take a little tour of the facilities, that's a good time to do it.
Well, this is good because this is, we talk about the city side here, how we have to redesign the city. And this is a big step in working with the school district. Not that we're working with them, but it's good that now the school district takes a component of that.
Hand in hand. We need to work together. That's
Any age limit?
Any age limit? You have no age limit on the far end of things. On the young end of things, you have to be out of high school or not currently attending a high school and 17 years or older. That would be the only criteria. If you're enrolled in a high school program, stay in high school, get your high school diploma, finish out, and if you want to choose us for a post-secondary option, that's there for you. If you're dropped out of school or finished your high school diploma, it's a perfect fit for you.
So someone that did drop out can come back?
Yeah, if someone had already dropped out of school and experienced life and realized that, wow, that high school diploma does make a difference, and I want something stronger than a GED, I want that Erie Public Schools high school diploma and some career training, we can help you with both of those.
And I'm sorry, but I would hate to say this, if someone comes to me applying for a job and they have a GED, I can't look at that
It's got a negative connotation to it that the high school diploma looks nicer, and a high school diploma is something you have to earn and work towards, and so it's a really good program to get it. Some students are short a credit or two. Some are short a lot, but we have avenues for each one. So to say you start on this day and finish on this day for a high school diploma and a career program is difficult because each person comes to you different. And that's really what we're structured behind.
Sometimes you have to look at why to get a GED. There might have been something there.
Yeah, that GED, I'm losing my voice, but that GED program is a fantastic program. I taught it in night school years ago when I first started in the district.
Well, that's what I said. It's a little, it's kind of a touchy.
Guys from Vietnam who ended up being postmen, but they had to have that square filled.
Actually, the GED testing sometimes, right now, is a lot more difficult than it ever has been. Students used to drop out of school to get their GED because it was easier. It's not true anymore. It's a very difficult test. But I know where you're coming from is a high school diploma to the employer is someone who it looks like someone who had a commitment, finished, walked across stage, has that pride, and it tells something about your character. Same thing with a training program. If you come to an employer with an industry credential, not just a certificate of completion, but you come to them with that industry credential and you say that I have been certified by national boards to operate in this area, then they're going to get hired.
How about we open up a little bit?
Sure.
But like you're right. Say some of these guys that went to the military in the old days, before the military got tough, got drafted, went to come back, got their GED.
Sure.
I'm going to hire that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's been field tested and...
I'll even mention a name, Larry Boris. He's one of my old neighbors. He went to Nam, got shot up a little bit, came back, and I bumped into him. It was Marshall School at that time.
Yeah,
and,
that's going back.
He said, B, I got to get this. If I can get this, I can get a job. And he had a heck of a career as a postman.
Some guys were doing it when I was in the service.
Yeah.
They're trying their best.
Yeah.
A lot of local employers find me a next military person and I'll hire them on the spot simply because they know the training they went through. So you tie that in with their credential. And
everybody's a little different. I had guys when I was in college that took, because of their jobs and their families, took 12 to 15 years to get a degree. I just ground it out one class at a time.
Yeah.
But choice,
I do think sometimes, GEDs get a bad rap. And years ago when you went to tech, they said, you got a bad rap because they say going to the trade school. Well, you know what? Some of those kids now are.
Yeah.
Well,
they're putting the roof on your house.
They're owning the businesses.
They're building those boats down there.
Darn right there.
Well, the other thing too is as things are changing. There was a time when your computer didn't work properly or your TV didn't work properly. You called an electronic repair person that came, and now they don't. You throw it away and go buy a new one. But what I'm kind of focused on is you don't throw your car away or a major appliance. You don't throw that away. You still need somebody to fix it.
Yep. Right.
Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon, Kaz.
Yes.
So nice to turn into your program and see. I'm sorry. Let me turn my.
Your volume down?
Recognize the voice.
I'm so happy to see two of the finest gentlemen in education in Erie today.
Well,
Miss Finucci, we love you.
Matt and I go back a long ways. When he was when I was on the board, he was a young aspiring. What was your job back then?
As a teacher, I was a television production teacher.
Yeah, and it was a pleasure to advance him up because he earned every.
They both have.
Well, Ed and I have we have a good path together too.
But no, really, seriously, to see to see education thriving in our school district, it's so important. It's so important.
I agree with you in that. You know, when I was on the school board, I remember people would say, "You're nuts sending your kids to an Erie public school," and I'd say, "Why?" You know, my kids all turned out well. I'll match the success of many of the kids my kids went to school with against anybody, and that's a tribute to the teachers and the administrators, the parents, everybody.
Oh, yes, and the thing is that we're making strides in the school district, and when I see a program like this starting up and know how important it is for young people out there to take advantage of it.
Hey, don't forget people that are displaced, too, you know.
Oh, look at the people that are getting laid off. I mean, it's really heartbreaking, and the thing is, Matthew and Ed are on the right track because this is what we've needed for years. And to see Central getting really involved, we could be the pride of Pennsylvania, and I hope it continues and gets stronger and stronger. And good luck to the program, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You know, she brings up a good point that, you know, we have Collegiate Academy at the one, but I think way back when they messed around with Academy and Tech, they screwed up that school for a while, and now I think we're back finally on the right track. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz. Last week's council meeting, you had the young black gentleman came up. I guess he was the refuse worker who got hurt.
Yes.
You listened to it, right? You paid attention when he was talking during the council meeting?
Yes, I did. In fact, I checked a little bit into what he was talking about, and right now a lot of it is you can't talk about it because it's being worked through the system, but yes, I did look into it.
Okay, well, he actually said these drivers drive too fast.
Well, see, that's what we all think, but we're not, at this point, we're not privy to it until the, police run through the program, but it would, at first glance, you'd have to say, that would probably be the cause.
As I've seen it in my neighborhood, they go as fast as they can, they jam on the brakes when it comes to pick up some garbage, and those guys on back are just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, that's wrong. Now, a couple of us on council talked about, we inquired into how we have them set up at night, schedule-wise, and maybe we have to change that to discourage finishing early, if that's what the problem is. And I don't know if that's a problem, but, when I was in the service and I drove a heavy truck that was top-heavy like that, you got to be very careful with, how you approach corners and everything like that. There's a center of gravity that gets lost real quick.
Oh, and another thing is, too, just beating these vehicles, maintenance on these vehicles, you're driving, one of those things probably weigh about 4 or 5 tons when they're loaded?
Maybe more, yeah, maybe more. At least.
Yeah, so you're jamming on those brakes, you're probably going through brake pads like every other month.
Hey, I was amazed when I was controller, I used to look at the individual loads that we would take out, because each one was separate, the billing, and you would see the sheets as they went out to I was amazed how many tons they could put on one of those trucks.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's a lot more than it's the tons, it's up there.
Yeah, we have to take, these, I will say this, our risk management director has been working with them, and this is probably something, he's going to have to look at, trying to educate him that, when you got guys on the back end of a truck, there's a reason why they don't put firemen on the back end anymore.
That's right, yeah.
And if we're going to put refuse workers back there, you got to be real careful, how you drive and everything else.
Well, now how are these guys set up? What, they're part-time guys that are picking up the garbage? They're full-time guys that are driving?
Well, a lot of them are per diem, what they call per diem. They're part-time. That's how they get into the chance to bid into the city for a job. That's how they take that refuse job. Usually, all the drivers, to my knowledge, have to have CDL, and I think a lot of the drivers are full-time. I will check into that, but I believe that they are full-time, and they all have CDLs.
Okay.
But, you got to be real careful. Like, when you got people on the back. Years ago, when we didn't have salt spreaders, I can remember as a young man having to stand on the back of a 3/4 ton truck and unload it with salt in a parking lot. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't take much to jerk you off there. And, you know, when you think about it, we were really nuts doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, safety, that's one, we're going to have to be very careful on that, because I don't want to see, we had a bad run there for a couple of weeks.
You know, if I could break in for a second, I was able to get a college degree. I was a sanitary engineer for a few years for a school district. Sanitary engineer. I collected garbage. And let me tell you, some of the finest guys you'll ever meet are those guys that are driving those trucks or running behind them and filling them up. It's a tough job. And today it's even worse because they got to be careful what they're picking out, because there's hypodermic needles there and all kinds of garbage. So my hat's off to them. Yeah, maybe if somebody did go a little bit too fast, we're all human. But day in and day out, those guys do a heck of a job.
Yeah, well, guys, yeah, I mean, I think it was last year, probably 2 weeks ago on Taxpayer's Hotline, there was another guy that was complaining that those guys were going too fast when they're driving.
Yeah, and
I'm not the only one who's witnessed this.
No, and in fact, as late as today, I brought up again with the Assistant Public Works Director. I said, I'm getting complaints about, you know, trucks going too fast. Now, you know, so it's hard to judge what's too fast, but, you know, I think at a certain point you can say it's too fast, but he's aware of it, and I think they don't want to repeat performance. But both cases are still being investigated.
Okay, guys, that's fine. So yeah, as long as you guys are on it, it's being investigated, and
well, it got our attention, because
if I see it happening again,
you never want to see anybody get hurt or especially killed. You know, that's not, you know, when you go to work, you hope you come home at night.
That's true. And I mean, like I said, the other thing, just the maintenance. I mean, maintenance of these vehicles. We don't need to beat. You don't even beat. You know, you're revving that engine, you're wearing these brakes. That's enough. You got to take it easy on these things. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Hey, thank you.
But yeah, these guys, they work hard. I'm telling you.
That's why we're looking
hard
at whether whether the way they. I think when you were a councilman, they did the same thing. They got done quicker, and
you had so much garbage to pick up. If you could get it done in 5 hours, you still got paid for 8.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it being a safety issue. Of course, we had it. We didn't.
Sometimes you have to remind people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Az, do you know about this Time Warner? I mean, they're going way out of control. Now, I'm returning one of my little boxes that I had, and what they told me down there is that everybody's going to have these boxes. They're going to charge us $3 more a month just for the box and whatever the service thing is. And it's getting kind of ridiculous because senior citizens, you know, we just have so much money to spend, and now this Time Warner is adding something else to our TVs.
You don't have the big box, right?
No, it's just a little box.
Yeah, that's the one that switches you from analog to digital, right?
When they took away your station,
yeah.
I went down there to find out what was going on.
And they gave you that little digital box, that little converter.
I'm paying so much. I says, I think you should take all those programs that you took away from me. You should reduce my bill. They just gave me a spill and everything else, and it was no good. So.
And that little box was free for a while, but now it's $3. The only way you can get around that, I wish DJ was here, but you can, if you have a cable-ready TV that you can tune in digitally, you can find out what station we're on and channel 12 and all of them, and you can tune your station that way. You don't need their converter.
Still,
but you know,
they said everybody's going to have these to get Time Warner on their TVs. That's what they explained to me.
Yeah, it's when the government changed from analog to digital. That's when that all happened. And you know, in their attempt to make us all happier, they provided a cash flow for. But I'll tell you this: it's frustrating because when we negotiated, and we did this through COG, we all got together and we took Time Warner to court. there were winners and losers, even amongst the townships and the cities. And basically, the old saying is, he who has the gold makes the rules. Yeah. That's them. They can do whatever they want to do. And the old days when we had senior discounts and all that, you can try to negotiate it, but they really don't care. You know, they
don't care at all down here. But the lady was nice enough because I got the box free, and
for a while, right?
My one TV went bad, so yeah, now I'm paying so much a month for to have this box. And if they do this to everybody, I mean, I tried to program my TV so I could get your station back in.
Yeah.
Nothing I could do. I even went down there.
If you're cable ready, DJ could probably help you. He'd be able to tell you how to do it.
I'm cable ready, but they told us by next year we're all gonna have them. So what, can't the city get on them about something, or what can be done? Because they're, like you said, they're gonna charge whatever we want to charge anymore.
Here's the thing, we don't even know if they're gonna be the player in the 2 years from now.
That's right.
It may be Charter Communications.
Yeah.
And we have to renegotiate everything, but you know what? Next time DJ's on, give me a call, okay?
Okay.
And I'll have him call you off the air or something, and maybe walk you through it. Because I think if you have the capabilities like the new TVs, you can bypass their box.
Yeah.
You don't need to,
Okay, I'll call then.
Okay. It's amazing that we've got to the point in life where we pay for water, we pay for TV.
That's the truth.
Before we go off, I think we'll still be a couple minutes. Do you want to,
Well, I just asked Matt if we missed anything, and I don't think we have. Oh, there's somebody coming anyway.
He got a couple calls about,
Yeah.
Lynette did. Go ahead, caller.
You were just talking to that gentleman about the TVs.
Yeah.
All he has to do is buy the newest digital cable-ready TV, and it will program from analog to the digital stations.
I think he said he has one, but, a lot of people, I know people that, you give them a clicker and you give them they are completely lost,
Well, all you have to do is hit program and hit it again, and then it will come up on a screen and will tell you if you want analog or cable ready, and you just hit analog.
Yeah.
And then you go through the process. It tells you on the television how to reset everything.
Yeah, because if you can bypass, to me, anytime you can bypass, like in his case, that's going to be probably about, it's 3 something, it's going to be $40-some a year. Better in my pocket than theirs,
Well, I had all of those little convert boxes. It's a piece of junk. And they want $1.50 a month for renting it.
Hey, I tried to take my football game the other day, and the box needs to be, I need a new one. Because, you're watching halfway through and it starts pixelating. And I said, I got all these...
That might be the Browns, though.
Yeah, it is. They do me a favor, though, right?
You might have a bad cable and it's getting frayed, or you're not getting the signal in right.
Actually, I'll give it to Time Warner. They were real nice. They came in, they rewired my house, because they said I was one of the first houses, and that's true. Yeah. They did the inside, they checked the outside, they did a check on the power coming through, the signal strength, and they took care of all that. But the box itself, they get old.
Yeah, that's true. Mine was one of the first too.
The thing is, I'm trying to catch up all the things I taped.
Well, I'm going to go to
clear
Verizon.
it up and get a new one.
That's it.
I'm going to go to Verizon. And it'll come in on my telephone cable.
Well, competition's good, and I hope we get it.
But that's the way things go, and what can I tell you? Are you going to assume the position for next year?
What, president?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to look at it because, you know what?
You have to work twice as hard.
My wife wants to do a lot of traveling, too, next year.
Well, that's right. That's why they have a...
Ever since she retired, she gets that...
That's why they have a vice president, too,
That's true.
Position. But he doesn't get any money.
Whether it's this year or next, I'll consider it,
Well, I think you should, because the guy who's considering is a joke.
I can't say that.
I kid, and I won't say his name.
My show's open to anybody who wants to say anything.
But he's a joke. And I see that you voted for that proposal proposal of Brennan.
Well, you know what? Here's what happened.
You did that. I know why you voted. I'm going to tell you why you voted.
Why?
You voted because you want to bring up things that you want to get into, but you're doing it the wrong way. They have a general fund, and that money can be allocated from that general fund with an emergency tap. But the way Brennan did it, he kind of raked the mayor's ire there.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. You know, I pointed out that when I was on the school board, it was so nice. We would sit there and we would go, look, we don't have the ability to decide which item to cut all the time. You know, you and your professional wisdom, meaning the superintendent, you make the cuts. You know, we want this budget down to this level. And it worked out good. And we suggested that here, but, you know, we ran into a roadblock. I think what Councilman Brennan wanted to do was, he had some ideas on some new I mean, we sit here and we get beat over the head about people want the beat men back, they want the bicycles back, and, you know, so we just suggested, let's find some money. I mean, in any budget, and I can guarantee you this, you wait till the end of the year and you watch the transfers.
You're done.
And then you'll know where they hid the money all year.
Well,
but you track it over a 5-year period, you could tell.
You know it.
It's just like I told you before, with my budget, it amounted to $300,000-$400,000, and I get a phone call from corporate. They say, spend this money, or we won't make your budget any bigger next year.
Well, see, that's a wrong attitude too. But you know what? Here's the thing: the administration has to understand that they did their job. You know, our job is to do what we want to do. There's a difference in our government. Many years ago, the people of this great city changed the form of government.
Yeah, they went to home.
And they went to a federal government type of, where we have a legislative branch and an administrative branch. And, you know, if they think we're just going to sit there and not do anything, well, then I might as well go home. I can watch reruns of the
Cleveland Browns get beat.
Or I can watch a stadium in Minnesota get built.
True. But, you know, the whole thing here is, when you had all these heads come in,
yeah,
you gave them softball questions.
Not me. I asked everyone. But you know what? What you don't see is the liaison's supposed to meet with them, okay? I met with mine, and I asked each one, you know, what they wanted, what they needed, if anything. But you know what? To be realistic, if you, under our form of government, the mayor's your boss, you're going to do what he tells you to do.
True.
Okay? You're going to come in here and you're going to present us. But, you know, just you got to remember, we only get the budget a few weeks ago. That's not much time to digest it. And so a lot of questions come up. A lot of people come up to me all the time and go, hey, did you ever think about this? And I go, no, I didn't. So I brought it up at the meeting, you know, different things.
That's too late. The horse is already out of the barn.
Well, that's at least we got a budget. That's more you can say for Harrisburg.
No. That's because he got testaroos in Harrisburg.
Testadoras, yeah.
And that's hard heads. But the whole thing here is, you're going over that budget in too short of a time. You should go over it line by line with the department head and ask them what they can cut, what they need, and don't listen to the mayor. The mayor is running the whole store.
The last time I suggested that, I brought a tent to Peach Street at about 18th or 19th and Peach. You know it was there, the old school district headquarters?
Right.
I put a tent out front on the lawn. I said, I intend to stay here. And they go, good, you'll be the only one.
That's true.
That's what the other directors told me.
But the trouble is, you got 7 people down there that are all lead. They're bobbleheads. And yours is getting close to bobbling more now.
Who?
You.
Me? Come on.
Yes. I'm saying it's bobblehead. It's just bobbling yes and no for the mayor. The mayor comes out with his proposals, and
I can tell you he's not happy with me right now.
I don't think he's happy with a lot of people. Of course, he's going to lose a few.
How can you put me in a bobblehead range then? You know.
I said I have your bobblehead.
I mean,
right now it's swaying a little bit.
No.
But wait till you get the new council people, and the mayor thought he had his hands full before. I think the boat is going to rock. But anyways, you're getting late on time, so I want to say Buona Natale and Buona Capitan, which means Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in Italian. Oh, you guys up there. Mark, you look good, baby.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
John.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Can you give us the date again for the open house?
Sure. Tech After Hours open house will be Wednesday, January 20th at 6 o'clock at the Central Tech Library on 3325 Cherry Street.
That's actually 1 month from yesterday.
Yesterday, yep.
1 minute.
Yep. So it's a great chance to come in, take a little tour, hear more information about it. If you're curious about the different programs and you want to learn a little bit more about it, eriesd.org/adult education, or give us a call at 874-6269.
And will you have already started by then, or will you start afterwards?
We have classes starting January 25th, and then we'll also be enrolling new students every month.
Okay. So it's not too late.
It's never too late to get started, but that's what our open enrollment is, once a month.
And hopefully, at least my intent of having you guys on this program was so that people that see it, if they can't use it themselves, at least that they would know of someone else and say, hey, call up to Central and see what's going on.
Yeah, this really could make a difference in somebody's life, take them out of poverty, get them a good job, or a shift of careers.
Are they going to push this program at the, what do you call it, the unemployment office too?
Yep, down at the unemployment office and down at the Career Link, they're already pushing it. We're having students go through their process for the free tuition, and so they've been very cooperative.
I remember when I was laid off for a short period, it was like, there was nothing to be offered. It was like, wow, what do you do in life,
Yeah.
I can only imagine these people that, like you say, have been working for 15, 20 years.
And the key is not to make more debt because you've been working and now you're laid off, money is tight. It's not the time to make additional debt. And if you're a displaced worker, you qualify automatically for free tuition. We made sure our costs kept underneath.
These are kind of programs government should be in.
Yeah.
Hope so.
I mean, really.
Seeds of a community college. Remember, we said it first.
Yeah.
Well, I think, that one was doomed to fail from the start, but
That's
sometimes it's
another show.
Sometimes it's the personalities involved. A lot of times,
Sure. Yeah.
It's amazing how
First committee meeting was over 119 people. That tells you something right there.
And personally, I think this is even stronger than a community college. You can add the college credits onto it, no problem. And we have those articulation agreements, but what we have here on the table is that industry credential that will get you the job. That's the most valuable thing a person could have. It says to employer, I am at a high skill level to come to work for your organization.
And what's nice is this is what the old tech used to do in a way,
Sure.
So this is a
But
program.
certification is so much more important today. Back in the day, I used to have kids all the time. I tell them, you're good enough to play football in college.
Yeah.
I can go work for my uncle at GE or at Hammermill or at Kaiser, Inland Container, and make more than you're making as a teacher.
But it's true. When I was a kid,
It was true back then.
You could walk out of Tech and pretty much walk down 12th Street.
Yeah.
And if you kept your nose clean, you had a strong back, good attitude, you're probably going to be okay.
Drive a jeepney.
But now you watch like the boatyard down there. They're looking for highly trained underwater welders and everything and all that stuff, and
That pay excellent wages.
Yeah.
Well, people always argue in this town about where did it all go, and that's true because if you're making a good wage, you're going to be going to the movie theater, you're going to be going to the other event,
Driving the car that you want, living in the house that you want to live in, and enjoying things in
and
life.
the spin-off effect happens after that.
And then you're spending money in our community, which is creating more jobs. So it is that trickle effect everywhere. But what employers are saying is, I have these openings and I cannot find anybody to fill these slots. On the other end of it, there's people who are unemployed or underemployed saying, I can't find a job. So we're right there in the middle, bringing them together so the people that are looking for jobs can have a skill set to get the jobs that are open in our community. Like Ed said at the beginning of the show, is the baby boomers are retiring. I'm at the tail end of the youngest end of a baby boomer generation, and everybody's getting ready to retire. And so in the next 5 years, 25% of the workforce will be retiring. Somebody's got to replace them, and they got to replace them before they go because they're taking 25 to 30 years worth of experience with them. So employers are desperate to hire new people on, so they can come in and fill those slots and learn a little bit of the ins and outs from the people that are getting ready to
Well,
retire.
the machine shop used to be so competitive, you know, and now you're saying they're
It's becoming again.
because the old guys are retired.
Yeah.
They've had to
Those jobs that they held for 25, 30 years are coming opening because they're retiring. It's not because we had a stalemate in the economy or anything like that. It's just that these were such good jobs that people held on to them for a lifetime. And now they're coming available through retirements.
And China's becoming less and less the answer,
Yeah.
which is bring it back to America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it from some of my customers who, have tool and die shops, and what was 5 to 10 years ago at least, some of these guys were on the ropes hard because so much of their business was going to China, but now some of these guys are coming in, and as I'm talking, and they're saying, look, it's like the cost was not worth the quality issues, and now they're getting, they're bidding and they're getting the jobs back here.
America is definitely becoming more competitive, higher quality work out there, and becoming more affordable to do business with. And what we're doing here is we want a built-in Erie, trained in Erie, for a very strong workforce, so we can attract businesses to our community. It's the only way we're going to grow.
Yeah, imagine growing the county and the city again.
That'd be a nice thing.
Hey, the way I've seen local businesses, local government agencies like the city and the school district and the chamber and the manufacturers association, everybody's all joining together on a common cause to make Erie better. I've never seen such partnerships and so strong as I've seen lately, and I'm very proud of Erie for that.
Well, if we don't, it'll be the last man grabs the
Yeah.
flag and leaves.
And as I think, are we out of time yet, or?
We had a time, or
Yeah,
happy holidays, everybody.
We're still on, but we won't be on the tape end.
Okay.
So I want to thank Matt.
All right.
I want to thank Ed and Mark. Thank you for setting this up.
Yeah.
Thanks,
It's a little
guys.
different way you normally do, but I think it's important.
Thank you. We appreciate
So
it.
maybe we'll have you back for an update.
Yeah, definitely. Love to.
Heck yeah.
All right.
All right, nice holiday.
That's okay. I'm a Bills fan. I can feel it.
That's my second team. They don't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.